Welcome to Ecstatic Yoga. I am Grace. I'm so happy to have you here. We will be practicing a Surya Namaskara Sun Salutation, and I'm going to be reviewing our lesson this week on safe movements for knees and wrists. So this is an important class, and let's begin our grounding. Perfect. Finding a comfortable seat and feeling those sits bones connected to the earth, support of the earth, and the cooperation of gravity so that we can safely walk this planet, support. Bringing the breath down into the lower abdomen, the belly, triggering that parasympathetic nervous system, the relaxation response. Training our bodies to breathe in the belly. And taking a moment to really be with yourself deeply and scan your being, scanning the physical body, noticing any sensations, just noticing how you are without going into any judgment, just being the neutral witness. Continuing to breathe and scanning the energy body. This week we're on prana, the pranamaya kosha, the fourth step of Patanjali's 8 limbs is pranayama, the breath. We move to more and more refinement by moving from the body to pranayama practices and working on this energy body. This pranamaya kosha, this sheath, this layer of our being that's non-physical. It's can't see it with our eyes, but has so many intricate systems that support the physical body. Noticing the energy, maybe some tingling or vibrating or pulsing. Scanning the emotions and the inner being without judgment, without even needing to label them. Practice being in the felt sense rather than the intellectual title of an emotion. Emotions can be so intricate, hard to pin them down to one word. Feel the depth. No judgment. Allowing the emotions and the thoughts and the feelings and all of this to arise, knowing that we are the witness of these. These are not the content. These contents of our mind and our body and our emotion and the sensations are not who we are. They are the ever-changing content. We're the witness of it all. Without any resistance or judgment. And then taking this moment, this opportunity to set an intention for yourself, something you'd like to create in your life, you'd like to create more of, or less of, whatever it may be. And taking these few moments as an opportunity to feel those emotions we're wanting and see the form of what that is we'd like to create. So taking a moment here in silence to feel and visualize this intention, fully manifested now. So it's good to state your intentions in the positive and the present tense. And releasing that intention with a this or better, this or better, this or better. Beautiful job. All right, so we're going to come up to a standing position. So do a few warm-ups for our Surya Namaskara. And we're going to be discussing a little bit about the knees and the wrists, as we're going to be focusing on some practices that are going to help our knees and our wrists and keep them protected. So we're going to stand in front of the mat. I'm going to stand right here in front of you. Let me see. I did get finally got a new, came in the mail, camera. It's mine broke in Costa Rica. So hopefully this will help a little. I haven't figured out the Zoom, so figure it out. But I like to always start our mountain pose, feet hip width apart. You can take the fists. Sure, those two fists are about hip width apart, and adjust it. And moving into our loops, nice way to bring us into a postural alignment. So feeling that ankle loop as you feel that arches lift a little bit. Feel the calves engage in shin loop. Remembering the energy moving up the shins and down, and up the calves and down the front of the shins. And then the energy begins right below the knees. So you're going to feel a lift of the knees, which a lift of the knees is one of our knee safe movements, is always feeling that lift. And we're going to feel the quadriceps lift. And that helps when we engage these quadriceps. Right here, it helps those knees lift and protects those knees. When we're in a balancing pose, when we're on just one leg, we often want to feel the hamstrings engage as well to protect the knees. And then we're going to feel the pelvic loop as we feel moving this pelvis and find its nice neutral position, not sticking out too much or hinging forward and or back. So find that perfect neutral. And then our kidney loop, we're going to feel a lift of the ribs. Shoulder loop, energy is going to come up right between the lips, go back. So the shoulders are going to come back and down the back. And then our crown loop, where we feel pulled up towards the heavens. And take a moment to feel this. You may want to move a little forward and back, keeping the weight balanced equally on both feet, and find that center of gravity where your body feels balanced. Just feel that for a moment. We're going to move slow into this first Surya Namaskara. And we're going to move into kind of our first Surya Namaskara is going to be, we're going to focus on breath. That's our focus this week. So the practice, we're going to really focus on our breath. We're going to inhale those arms up. Nice, long, deep breath, finding a nice little back bend. And then we're going to hinge forward. Arms are way out to the side, and this is protecting our low back. They can come close into the body, or you can have the hands on your hips. You just don't want to put them out here because it's putting pressure on the low back. This is safe movements for low back. Coming all the way down. Now, when you come down, you can always use blocks. Coming down to our forward fold and relaxing the head. You can grab your elbows if you like. And just relaxing in this pose. Focusing on that breath. On the next inhale, we're going to come up into our half forward fold. And exhaling back down into our forward fold. Now, in standing poses, we never want to lock these knees. So we always want a little micro bend in these knees. You can bend them as much as you can to bring the hands down. You just don't want them locked or overextended, because this affects our ligaments and over time can make the ligaments lax. So that gentle little tiny micro bend whenever we're standing always helps the knees, the knee joints. And then we're going to inhale as we bring that right foot back behind us. That's enough. We can fix that. And we're going to focus on these knees again. Taking our time, we're going to really focus. So there's a few things with the knees that we want to protect. And first, the knee being right over the ankle or a little behind. It puts a lot of stress on the knee if it moves forward of the ankle. And then we want to take that knee and we want to line it up with that second toe if we can. And usually it is, unless our body's pretty out of alignment. But just finding if you feel that knee's kind of over to the side or the other side, just have it lined up right there with that second toe. Helps keep that knee protected, safe movements. And we're going to square those hips. Feel an engagement of this back leg. And again, that tiny micro bend even in this back knee. And then bringing the arms up in our high lunge. And you always have the invitation to go down into low lunge. For this, dropping the knee. And engage your bandhas and breathe. Holding the pose. Nice deep breaths. Focusing on the breath, the prana in the body. To engage the bandhas, that's going to seal the energy in so nothing leaks out. Next, inhale, reaching up into the arms. And then on your exhale, we're going to bring the hands down to the mat. And we're going to move into downward facing dog. And there's a few things we can do here. Some safe movements with our wrist. And in downward facing dog, unlike the table, we'll go into table and I'll show you. The wrists are not aligned with the shoulders. It's a lot of weight and pressure. One of the first things you can do is spread those fingers out and distribute your body weight equally between the hands, the palm, and the fingers. That can really help with your wrists. And the other thing we can do is called teacup. And that's coming up onto the fingertips. So if your wrists are really bothering you, you can come up onto the fingertips. It's called teacup. Beautiful. And here we are in downward facing dog. So let's walk the dog a little bit. Dropping one heel down to the earth. The opposite knee bends in as you feel a nice stretch on the calves, hamstrings. And keeping that breath flowing. Noticing the sensation. And coming back to center. We're in Surya Namaskara C. And we're going to move into a plank pose. And we're going to drop the knees. And moving down in chaturanga, there's a few things you can do to help protect the wrists in chaturanga. And so your upper arms and your elbows, we're going to start to lower. So we want to keep those in alignment. And we want to keep the upper arms in. We don't want them the elbows sticking out. That's going to protect the body. And keeping, as you can see, my wrists, I'm going to come down, keeping the wrists in and come all the way down to the floor, spreading those fingers out. Beautiful job. We come down to the floor. And the few things we can do with, if we're moving up into up dog, we can push up. And one of the ways we can protect the wrists is we can actually move into Sphinx instead of up dog. So we can rest onto our forearms rather than the wrists. We need to really protect our wrists. The wrists are okay. We've been moving into up dog. We want to keep the wrists under the shoulders, spread the fingers, and we can even move into teacup here if that helps your wrists. Beautiful. We're going to curl those toes under, move back into our downward facing dog. And this modification for our wrists here in downward dog is dolphin. So we can come down again onto those forearms and move into dolphin. So practice that if you're having a time in your life where your wrists are bothering you. This is a beautiful modification, beautiful option. And breathe. Coming back up into your full downward facing dog, and we'll lift the head, look between the hands, and walk, step, jump that right foot forward. And we'll move into a nice high lunge on this side. Or if you'd like to stay low, you can do that as well. Bringing that back heel down towards the earth, squaring those hips, and I'm going to find that knee. It's lined up with that second toe. It's right over the ankle or a little behind, and breathe. Next inhale, reaching the hands up. And on the exhale, bringing the hands down to the mat, bringing that back foot to the front, moving back into your forward fold. You can bring the hands behind the calves. You can bring the hands up behind the back. Relaxing the head. My personal favorite is holding the elbows. I love to yes and no with my head. Remember that little micro bend in the knees. Inhaling, coming halfway up. You can either bring the hands to the shins just below the knees. You can also bring the fingertips to the floor for your half forward fold. Exhaling back down into your forward fold. Relaxing the head. And in the inhale, we're going to hinge up. So we're going to lift the head first and the heart. And then find your hand position, whether it's your hips, whether you've got giant angel wings, or the hands are right in close to the body, and moving back up into your mountain. We'll move into a little side by side, adding some lateral movements. This beautiful mountain pose. Remember, as we stand, we have a tiny micro bend in those knees. And coming back to center. Let's take a nice inhale into our gentle back bend. And then we're going to exhale as we hinge forward. And finding that place for your hands on the hips, angel wings, coming down to the earth, bringing the hands right beside the feet, or if you're using your blocks, that's totally good. Relaxing the head. Inhaling into half forward fold. And exhaling down. And we're going to take that right leg back and we're going to drop the knees. And one of the things we can do with this is really nice and important is that we can bring a blanket. So this is just one of the ways that we can protect the knees. It's a little too much, but we can put a blanket under the knee. Here, need to remember. And that can feel better for your knee if you have any knee issues. It's a nice way to protect the knee. Some people like to use it even without knee issues because it over time can really protect the knees. So we're going to move into some lunge rocks as we lunge forward, opening that hip, moving around a little bit. And this is the one time that knee is okay to move forward. It's when you're down low in a low lunge. And then as you move back, you can flex and extend this front foot. And noticing the beautiful sensations as we really bring the prana, because our focus this whole week is on this energy body. It's pranamaya kosha. And the breath, using the breath with the asana, the pranayama and asana is refining. We're moving in our body, we're moving prana, we're breaking through any blockages. When we use this prana, engage these bandhas, build the dynamic energy inside of us. Beautiful job. And we're going to bring that left leg back. Now I can put both knees on the blanket. And this is where we're on our table. We want to have the shoulders and the wrists lined up. Another way we can protect the wrists is fists. If teacup, it doesn't work for you. Fists is a nice way to protect these wrists. We'll move into some cat-cow, inhaling into our cow as we extend the spine, arch the back, lift the tail, exhaling into our cat as we flex the spine, tuck the tailbone around the back, and let the head come down, looking in towards the thighs and the belly. And continuing with the breath, inhaling in cow, extension of the spine, and exhaling in cat, flexion of the spine. Noticing the sensations, keeping that breath flowing. And bringing in any spontaneous movements now. Things that feel good as you flow between cat and cow. You're circling the hips or stretching the back in cat. Go into your cow, flag that tailbone. You can come forward if you like. Some people like to come all the way forward into an up dog and all the way back into child's pose in your cat. Finding some variations as you really enjoy the movement. Keep the breath flowing, maintaining presence with the body and the sensations. Maintaining this pose here, we're going to bring the hands a little further in front of us so we can move into our chaturanga. But before our chaturanga, we're going to invite you, if you like, to do a few push-ups. It's to strengthen those arms. It might be one push-up, it might be two, maybe none. If you'd like, you can just come all the way down into your chaturanga and resting the belly on the earth and turning the head to one side or the other. We'll do a couple more here. And I invite you, as we're here resting on the floor, turning the head to one side, taking a moment. I love to do this exercise I learned years and years ago of imagining the body as a sponge and the earth having all the nutrients, all the wisdom, all the vitality. Everything is stored in the earth. Everything that comes out and manifests has come from the earth. All the energy and aliveness between the sun and the earth, but the earth is filled with potentiality. It has wisdom, it has information, it has healing energy. And so as you lay down on the ground, just inviting the earth to, that your body can soak up anything that you may need from the earth and let it soak it up vibrationally, whether it's nutrients or it's information, guidance, wisdom, energy, vitality. Soak it up, and it may be things that you don't even know your body needs. So being really open to absorbing and receiving into your body what it needs at this point in time. We'll breathe and allow you to do this for a few moments. And taking this moment to thank the earth for its gifts that it provides every day. Home, your car, your clothing, your food, all your sustenance ultimately is provided by the earth. And we're going to move into a bird or airplane, bringing the hands out wide. And this is a nice variation for a nice gentle back bend, other than the up dog or the cobra if the wrists are bothering you, because we don't need the wrists. We're going to set that foundation first. So we're pressing the pelvis into the earth. And on the next inhale, we're going to lift the arms and the legs up off the earth and breathe. And one more breath here. And releasing on the exhale. Beautiful job. And bring the hands back underneath the shoulders and pressing yourself up. And let's go into a child's pose for a couple minutes, just for a nice counter pose for that back bend. Beautiful job. Coming back up into your table. I'm going to move my blanket right now. Check my... And we're going to curl those toes and lift those hips up into downward facing dog. Feel those heels come down towards the earth. Align the head right between the arms. Feel that upper arm. Nice, gentle, micro internal rotation. And we're going to move into three-legged dog. So lifting that right leg up. You want to open the hips a little, you can bend the knee and open up to the side. And breathe. And inhaling. And on your exhale, bring in the leg down. And moving to the other side. So we're going to move to three-legged dog. Bring the left leg up. Both arms are strong. Fingers are spread. Maybe finding adjustment to protect the wrists like this. Or teacup. You like to open up the hip. Opening up. And breathe. Nice deep inhale. And exhaling the leg down. Beautiful job. And we're going to take that right leg up and bring left knee down to the earth. Remembering we can use that blanket, knee to protect that knee. Give that just. Moving into some lunge rocks on this side. Keeping the breath flowing, remembering to really enjoy the sensations. Flex and extend that front foot for more sensation. And enjoy this time to be in your body, with your body. And coming back to center. We're going to curl the back toe, lift that back leg, and walk or step that back leg to the front, moving into forward fold. Find your variation. Inhale, blocks. Hands maybe on your back. And inhaling into half forward fold. For that micro bend in the knees. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, lifting the head first to take that weight of this lower back's not lifting that head. And find your variation with your hands, whether up close to your body, your hips, or giant angel wings to protect that lower back. We'll move into a Surya Namaskara to breath. Inhaling into the back bend. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling halfway up. Exhaling, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhaling into high lunge or low lunge if you like. Exhaling into downward facing dog. Inhaling, swooping right into up dog. And exhaling back into down dog. Inhaling high lunge, bringing that right leg up. Squaring those hips. Exhaling into forward fold. Inhaling half forward fold. Exhaling forward fold. And inhaling, coming all the way back up. Do one more to breath. Inhaling into a nice back bend. Exhaling, forward fold. Bring that micro bend. Inhaling, high lunge. Lining that knee up with the ankle, knee with the second foot, second toe. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Remember the variations with your wrists here. Inhaling up dog. Exhaling, down dog. Inhaling high lunge, bring that back. Right foot up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling half forward fold. Exhaling forward fold. Inhaling, lifting the head, lifting the heart. Coming all the way back up into your mountain. And bringing those hands in Anjali Mudra. Taking a moment now to notice the sensation in your body. The aliveness. You may feel the heart beating inside your chest. I'm going to bring the hands behind the back, clasping them, opening up the chest, and hinging forward into standing yoga mudra. Honoring the heart as the highest organ, as the highest wisdom, and releasing the hands and coming down to the knees. Move into just a couple hip flexors before we make sure I put some. I may have missed a couple, but you have the lesson this week, so make sure to read through that lesson on safe movements on knees and wrists. It's a short lesson, but as we're on our knees, people don't really realize it, but camel can be a really nice hip opener, because as we move deeper into the back bend, we're going to continue to move those hips so they align with the knees. And that really opens up these hips here and these hip flexors. So the first thing we want to do in our camel is tuck that tailbone under a little bit. So when we go into our back bend, we have a nice open lumbar spine. We're not going to crunch it. That's bringing the hands to the small of the back, right on either side of that lumbar spine. Bringing those elbows in and feeling that heart opening. And lifting the heart, moving into a gentle back bend. And feel those hips right over the knees. And if you'd like to go a little deeper, you can do it in steps. I really love bringing the heels up, coming up onto my toes, and coming down to my heels. But you can see my hips have moved back. So once I move them forward again, I feel a nice hip opener. Aligning the head with the spine. We're not propping the head, we're keeping it in alignment. And let's breathe. And you can also have the feet flat and come down. You want to create even more and moving that pelvis forward. And on the next inhale, coming up, we'll move right into a child's pose. Nice little counter pose, taking a few breaths here and diving inward to be with yourself. And coming up in a bit of a table pose here. Do a pigeon here, and then we'll do a supine pigeon. So with the pigeon, the first thing you want to do is open up your hands a little bit because we're going to take that right leg forward, bend the knee. In some instructions, it has you line this shin up with the mat. Very few people can really have that lined up. Mine is always coming in a little bit. So do your best. Bring that knee up. And we're going to balance the body. So you can actually feel a nice hip opening in this left hip. And then as we come down and bring the hands down to the floor, you're going to feel some opening of the right hip. And find your level, whether it's forearms or you're coming all the way down. And breathe. And on your next inhale, coming up. And we're going to move that right leg back and we're going to move to the other side on pigeon. So take the left leg forward, bend the knee. That right leg is going to be scooting back a little to open up this hip. Feel more in the hip. See if you can stretch that right leg back. And first, we're just going to balance here, feeling that nice opening on the left hip. And then when you're ready, if you're ready, or if you want to transition, coming down. You'll feel some more in the left hip and breathe. Always keeping the breath flowing, a gentle engagement of those bandhas. And inhaling, coming back up, and bringing that left leg back. And we're going to take those legs forward. You can cross the knees. I want to show you something for a moment. This is a nice little hip opener, actually. We'll go into a hero's pose. So this is something that can help the knees. A regular hero's pose that the kids do in elementary school is they come down, and then you can take those lower legs out and scoot the body right down. And this is a deep flexion on the knees in hero's pose. So one of the ways when you're moving into any deep flexion is you can use props. So a really good variation modification for your hero's pose is to sit on a block. And then you'll notice you can still bring those legs out to the side, and it protects these knees when they're in deep flexion. They'll feel much better. So taking a moment to just sit in this hero's pose. With whatever variation you've decided. One more breath here. Beautiful. Coming up. Another thing I want to comment on the knees is when you're moving, flowing from pose to pose, is to be really mindful, especially if you're flowing back and forth from warrior one to warrior two, as you're moving, to be mindful in those movements and all the movements, to keep them mindful and conscious, and not to move too fast and too rigorous, because the knees are, we're wanting to always be mindful of these knees. And if we are mindful of our knees and take good care of them, we won't need knee replacements. A lot of people are getting knee replacements these days because we have to protect these knees so that we can keep them healthy and strong our whole life. So we're going to come down all the way down onto our backs. And we'll move into our supta, our supine pigeon, or it's also called the four, the number 4 pose. And that's because I'm going to keep my left knee, I'll keep my right knee up, right foot's on the floor. Right now I'm going to rest the left ankle just above the right knee. And it looks like the if you put your foot out, it looks like the number 4. That's why some people call it a 4. Lifting that right foot off the earth, bringing that right leg in towards the body, clasp the hands behind the right hamstring, and gently pull that right leg into the body. And you're going to feel a nice hip opening on the left side. When you get here, take some time. It takes time for joints and things to open up, parts of your body to become more flexible, to stretch. And in yoga, we're never forcing, we're never striving, we're always allowing, always finding a gentle edge. Taking breaks whenever needed. Coming out of the pose anytime you may need to rest. Always honoring your body. You may want to bring that leg in a little bit closer now after a few breaths. Just playing that gentle edge. Inviting a little more openness in the hip. A little more flexibility. and releasing on the next exhale. I'm switch to the other side. So my left knee is up. I'm going to rest the right ankle just above my left knee, lifting that left leg up and clasping the hands behind the left hamstring, gently pulling that leg in towards the body, and breathe. See if you can bring it in a little bit more. Play that edge. One more breath. Releasing on the next exhale. And we're going to, let's bring those feet in to Baddha Konasana. So it's a nice hip opener. Clasping the hands around the feet, Supta Baddha Konasana, supine butterfly, and gently pulling the feet in towards the body. You want to rock back and forth a little bit to massage that lower back. Always feels good. I invite you to move into Happy Baby. Let's see if we have time for, we have time for a few releases. Just having fun with Happy Baby, stretching the legs, bending the knees, enjoying the sensations. And then release that, and let's bring the knees up and the feet to the floor. And let's do our hula. We're flat on the earth and we are swiveling our hips. So feeling those hip bones. One is going to be dropping down towards the heels. The other is going to be reaching up towards the armpit. And then you're going to swivel. Everything's flat on the earth. The sacrum's flat on the earth. Nothing's lifting up. You're just swiveling these hips, feeling all that sensation in the lumbar, spine, that connection between the sacrum and the lumbar, lower back, noticing the sensations as we release that lower back. And coming back to center, we move into hip pointers. So one butt cheek is rooted into the earth, the other one lifts up and points towards the sky, adding a little gentle twist into the lumbar. Moving back and forth, pointing one hip at a time, and breathe. One more time on either side. Making any last movements or stretches or adjustments you may need before we move into our Savasana. Moving into your Savasana, to relax those legs down. Find a nice comfortable position laying on your back. And open the feet up, flop those feet out, open the arms a little bit. It's nice to be palms up because we're receiving, we're integrating, we're allowing all the energies of this practice to be integrated and received on the deepest levels of our mind, body, and spirit. And taking a minute to focus on that breath in the belly. And with each breath, each exhale, the body releases, lets go of tension, and relaxes even deeper. Inviting total relaxation in the body as we rest in silent stillness for a few breaths, and I will bring you back. Taking a nice deep breath into the belly to begin to come back, letting the wiggling of the fingers, toes, stretching the arms and the legs. Rolling over to one side or the other. And taking a breath here. And gently coming up to a seated position. Take this moment to scan the body again, noticing how the physical body feels. Bringing all your awareness to the prana body, energy, maybe feeling tingling, fingertips, your face, feeling the aliveness all around your body, in your body. Noticing the inner aliveness, the inner sensations, the pulsing of the heart. The dynamic energy field within you. And bringing yourself back to that intention that you set. You can state it to yourself in the present, positive, and feel those emotions ahead of time. Letting your subconscious know you already have it. You have the emotional benefit. And then the physical form follows so easily. Maintaining the emotional benefit, emotions, and releasing the form to this or better, this or better, this or better. Thank you for joining me for this Surya Namaskara practice, focusing on safe movements of the knees and the wrists. Wishing Surya Namaskara C, several Surya Namaskaras. I am Grace with Ecstatic Yoga, wishing you a most beautiful and most blessed day. Namaste.